Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. Today we are going to start with the vRealize automation. At the end of this session, our objective is we will be familiar for vRealize automation architecture overview. So today's agenda is IT infrastructure evolution. We'll verify how our IT infrastructure is developed since 90s to until the 20s. Okay, how the infrastructure is evaluated, we'll discuss today. And apart from the evaluation, there is some key concepts. So I am going to highlight those key concepts. One is hyper-converged infrastructure we can discuss today. And once we're familiar with HCA, we'll start with the cloud-based models. There is a multiple clouds like private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and multi-cloud. And all these cloud-based models, how it will work and all, I will give you the basic overview today. And also the software defined data center. Software defined data center, hope all this word is we are familiar. In our previous sessions we discussed about SDDC, and today I again recall the SDDC overview. And once we familiar the above four concepts, we'll start with the vRealize automation overview. Okay, and we are a common use cases, and also the finally I will give how the real-time scenarios, how the system engineers and the technical consultant roles, and if you want to become a solution architect, what is the key skills to learn. Okay, this is the today's agenda. Let's start with our IT infrastructure evaluation. So in our IT infrastructure evaluation, IT means we already know information technology. Infrastructure means whatever the in a IT environment, in our data center we use, all are considered as a infrastructure components. And evaluation means how the IT is keep on growing or developing, progressing. Any word we can use, but the usual key word is evaluation. So we have a, if you see in the diagram, we have a normal rack mount server, and earlier days we can use rack mount server, tower servers, and later the advanced server is blade server. Blade server means one blade server. It consists of multiple blade, and each blade acts as a one server. Suppose if you see in this diagram, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means it's a 8 nodes blade server. Node means one server. So in this 8 node blade server, all the node, each node we can access as a one server, and you can install the ESX server. That means each blade you can install one ESX. 8 ESX servers will be ready with this blade server. Okay, and what is the initial IT infrastructure is, we can call it, the word is a traditional. So within the traditional, we have the main data center components are servers. We know the servers, rack mount servers, tower server, blade server, and we also have better blade server. Better blade server, one of the example is HPE Synergy. Synergy is the better blade server. Okay, and servers we familiar, and network. During our network session, we discussed about the basic network devices. So one of the network devices network switches. Okay, and for the storage, we know the storage network. Storage network means fiber channel storage network. We also call it as fabric, or we can use IP based network, or we can use any of the software based. And the storage also common. We can use the storage in the three types of storages: direct attached storage, network attached storage, and any of the SAN, FC SAN or ISC SAN. This is the traditional environment concept, but only thing in our traditional environment, for servers, we require a separate management team like a server engineers. For network, we require a, let me take the pointer. See, for network switches, we require a separate networking team. And to maintain the storage network and storage, we require a storage team. That is our traditional architecture scenario. Suppose the latest one we know, which is virtualization. But when it comes to the virtualization, some of the traditional items also now almost virtualized. Even as a vSphere virtualization engineer, we can also perform the host-based virtualization. We know host-based virtualization means VMware Workstation, but most of the time, host-based virtualization product workstation we can use only for a test and development environment. But for the real-time scenario production environment, we recommend to use bare metal virtualization software. That software name is ESXi, and the latest version of ESXi is ESXi 7 series. We have a 7.0 update 3. And within the ESX server, we know how to configure the switching. We familiar for virtual switch, and the DV switch is one of the vCenter server feature, and also the network. Even though when we are using the virtualization ESX DV switch and DV switch, still we need a physical network. Okay, and storage level, we have a multiple storage protocol SANs like FC-SAN. We can use NFS storage, network file system storage, protocol name also NFS, iSCSI, and even it is not limited only for these three storages. We can also use virtual SAN and virtual volumes. This many storage options available in the virtualization. So this is how the IT infrastructure is evaluated in a virtualization environment. And earlier we have a physical server. When comes to the virtualization scenario, we require a both physical server as well as virtual machine. The virtual machine started from virtualization era. Okay. Now, the advance to the virtualization, there is another concept called converged infrastructure. Okay, so in our converged infrastructure, the key underlying concepts are same, but the only thing is when they adding some additional features, they changed the architecture name to different architecture. So within the converged infrastructure, we still use virtualization software, ESXi, vSwitch, DV switch, network and all, but the only difference in the converged infrastructure is network and storage we can combine. We discussed in our iSCSI SAN class for connect from a ESXi host. ESXi host means iSCSI initiator. From iSCSI initiator, if you want to access our iSCSI sandbox, we require a IP based switch. IP based switch means that switch support for both network means LAN connection as well as storage connection. So that means the two options are converged in a one switch. That is nothing but a converged infrastructure. Okay, and there are some scenarios in our converged infrastructure, pre-built validated stacks. Even some third-party vendors, while purchasing the server itself, it will come with a converged infrastructure. Like the server, also it comes with a server with any additional network or additional storage. Any one equipment, like we have a mainly three equipments in our infrastructure: server, network, storage. If you converge with any two items, that is nothing but a converged infrastructure. Okay, so that is also one of the IT evaluation. And another advanced IT infrastructure evaluation is software defined architectures. Even virtualization also, we have some advanced software defined architectures, and each architectures there will be some different names. Let's try to understand what is the software defined architecture names. One of the architecture is hyper converged infrastructure. Here the name itself says hyper. Hyper means our ESXi operating system also one of the hypervisor. So when you converge your ESX box, converge with any IT infrastructure component, that is nothing but a hyper converged infrastructure. So the converge is means server with storage, server with along with network and storage switch. These combinations we call it as a hyper converged infrastructure. And the next slide, I will explain you in detail about hyper-converged infrastructure. And there is also some of the vendors, they are providing a composed infrastructures also. So this composed infrastructure means we require some software virtual components. Using software virtual component means we have a virtual appliance. For example, in our previous sessions, we discussed about vCenter server. vCenter server is one of the virtual appliance only. That means it's one of the software image we deployed. It's a predefined virtual machine. When we deploy the virtual center as a predefined virtual machine, it's bring up with you one virtual machine and log into the vCenter server. It allows you to manage all our ESXi host and virtual machines. Similarly, The composed infrastructure, composed means there are so many vendors, they are providing some composed infrastructures. Using the composed infrastructures also, we can define all our software defined architecture using either a software appliance or hardware appliances. One example for composed infrastructure is HPE Synergy. Even HPE Synergy servers, we can call it as a composed infrastructure servers or better blade servers. And within SDDC, there is some other terminology also we have. One is SDN. SDN means software defined networking. Software defined networking means even network concept, even though we have a physical infrastructure, if you are using any software component like logical switches, distributed logical router, distributed firewall, if you are using networking in a software layer, that concept we call it as a software defined networking. One example for SDN is VMware also providing one of the SDN product. That product name is NSX-T. Okay, Network Virtualization Transformers. NSX means. And we also have another software defined product that is called SDS. SDS means software defined storage. So that means we have a physical hard disk. Using physical hard disk, if you want to prepare a data store or LUN, that LUN we can assign to the ESX host as a data store. These data stores are software defined data stores, and VMware SDS product name is virtual SAN. And we also have another software defined storage, that name is virtual volumes. Okay, these virtual volumes and vSAN both are considered as a SDS product, software defined storage products. And SDDC means software defined data center. Suppose in your organization, if you are using a vSphere, if you are using virtual SAN, if you are using a vSAN as well as NSX, when you are using all three software defined products in your organization architecture we consider as a SDDC architecture, and it is subjected to be customer requirement. Some customer they stick with only vSphere is a software defined architecture, and they don't want to go with a NSX-T. Suppose some customers they will use in a vSphere as well as NSX-T. When they are using vSphere and NSX-T, it's a combination of software defined architecture only, but they are not using a virtual SAN. Suppose some companies they are using three products, like they are using vSphere, they are using NSX-T, they are using a vSAN, virtual SAN, all are the compute network storage. The three, whatever we have in the traditional, all are completely software defined now. Software means we can use ESXi in a server environment. For network environment, we can use software defined networking, which is NSX-T. And for the storage scenario, we are using software defined storage, which is vSAN, virtual SAN. When we're using all the three combinations in our any organization, that architecture we call it as a SDDC, software defined data center. Okay, this is the advanced concept of virtualization. Now, the after the software defined architecture, our IT infrastructure evaluation also again it's developed to the another concept that is called cloud based models. So within the cloud based models, we have a multiple business models. Like first one is private cloud, and another one is public cloud and hybrid cloud. Normally private cloud means that private cloud dedicated to our organization, that is called private cloud. And public cloud means it's dedicated to the multiple customers, like n number of customers can connect to the public cloud, that is nothing but a public cloud. And hybrid cloud means combination of private and public is nothing but a hybrid cloud. And multi-cloud, any combination of hybrid cloud with any additional cloud is considered as a multi-cloud. Okay, so that is the terminologies concept, everything is same, cloud concepts, only thing is terminologies are different. Okay, and even our infrastructure, IT infrastructure evaluation is not stopped at cloud level. Nowadays there is some latest one also started, and which is the latest one is serverless architectures. So here serverless means there is no server, not the meaning of no servers. Serverless means instead of buying a n number of 100 servers, for example, instead of buying 100 servers, we can use a less servers only in our environments. That is nothing but a serverless architectures. Within the serverless architectures, the main products involves containers. Containers means it is a containers we consider like a Kubernetes, Docker, Kubernetes, and even Kubernetes nowadays there are plenty of Kubernetes softwares are available. Each company releasing their own container softwares. For example, HPE is a Hewlett Packard Enterprise. Hewlett Packard Enterprise have their own container software. That software name is HPE Ezmeral. And similarly, suppose our company is VMware. VMware also have their own container software name. That software name is VMware Tanzu, like that. And suppose if you are using a Amazon public cloud, Amazon AWS is the public cloud. Public cloud also have their own container software. That software name is Amazon EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, like that. And after the container, there is another advanced concept that is called FAS, FAAS. That means function as a service. Even function as a service in our public cloud, the most popular public clouds are three vendors. One is Amazon, and second one is Microsoft Azure Cloud, and the third one is Google Cloud. So within these three vendors, they also released the fast products already. The Google's product name is Cloud Functions, AWS, Amazon Web Services product name is Lambda, and Microsoft Azure Public Cloud fast pro software name is Functions. Okay, but it is completely very advanced concept. So once we familiar for cloud level concepts, it will be more than enough to reach the next level of career. Okay, and if you're interested, you can also start exploring for the very latest concept. But if you observe in the current organization, most of the market still they are using a traditional and virtualization scenarios, and only few companies they started using converged infrastructure, and some companies they are using software defined architecture. And if you it's all depends on the organization system scale size. Let's say small scale organization, they don't want to invest on a bulk software defined architectures and serverless. They may still stick with the traditional and virtualization. Some organization it's like a medium scale organization, they may try to explore on the SDDC architectures. Suppose your organization is not like a small, it's a large organization, you have a n number of branches in the across the globe. So during that scenario, there is a chances of using a multiple architectures in your organization. So that scenario, it required to learn all the advanced concepts, which is cloud based models. So today, before we start the vRealize automation, why I am explaining this IT infrastructure evaluation is because vRealize automation is one of the multi-cloud management product. If I start explaining from multi-cloud management product concept, you may ask the question, what is multi-cloud? So just for our easy understanding, I started explaining from the IT infrastructure evaluation level. So how the IT is started, how it's a continuously growing, and we have the latest one software defined cloud-based models nowadays, very latest technologies, serverless architectures, which includes containers, Kubernetes, function as a service. These are all the examples. So before we jump into the vRealize automation product, we should understand some basic architectural names. What is the architecture concepts and all? Okay, so that is the reason we are discussing this basic concepts. Okay, so let's start with the within the software defined architecture. I will try to explain you in detail of hyper converged infrastructure now. Okay, so hyper-converged infrastructure means our hypervisor converged with storage. That is called hyper-converged infrastructure. So before start, again, try to understand the traditional definition again. So in our traditional architecture, we have a servers and we have a network switch and we have a fiber channel switch. If you want to connect from your server to fiber channel storage, we can connect only through fiber channel switch. From the switch, we can connect to the storage. This is the traditional architecture. And even in the traditional architecture, everything work like a silo. Silo means it's a separate servers managed by server administrators, network switches and all managed by network team, and storage is managed by storage team. So three different teams are need to support for the traditional architecture. Now try to understand the converged infrastructure. In our converged infrastructure, see, we have servers, same like traditional, we have a servers, but in the converge means instead of using separate network switch, separate fiber channel switch, we started using a normal IP based switch. This IP based switch supports for a both network and storage. So this is one of the solutions given by the designers. So with this solution, what is our benefit is, no need to purchase a fiber channel switch. Only normal network switch you can use for a both network connections as well as storage connection. This is the benefit of converged infrastructure. And the advanced concept of converged concept is hyper converged infrastructure. So let's observe the hyper converged infrastructure. So hyper converged infrastructure, mainly if you see, we require a one switch. So the network switch is common, but here instead of separate storage, the storage is coming along with the servers. So other day we discussed about the virtual SAN concept and we did a virtual SAN lab. In that virtual SAN lab, if you notice, all our ESX hosts have a some local hard disk, and using the local hard disk, we can prepare a virtual storage using virtual SAN option. When you enable the vCenter cluster level virtual SAN option, that cluster vSAN facility will make you all your local disk. It will make you as a one data store. If your server combined with the storage is nothing but a, but this server is not a normal server. It's a hypervisor server. Hypervisor server, the first 5 letters they took, hypervisor converged with storage, that is nothing but a hyper converged infrastructure. So whenever we started using this word in future, don't confuse. Hyper converged infrastructure means our ESXi host combined with virtual SAN is nothing but a HCI architecture. Okay, and the same points I mentioned here. With traditional data center, infrastructure includes servers, storage, or networking, or all separate only. So it's managed by separate. But here, if you see in the hyper-converged infrastructure, virtualization engineer can able to manage both servers and storage. So manual power also reduce. But in this diagram, we took the example of 3 ESXi hosts. The same scenario applicable for even if you have a 300 plus ESXi host. We no need separate storage engineer, and we no need to invest on a fiber channel switches, and we no need to invest on a external storage boxes. That is the infrastructure cost saving for our project. Okay, so that is the reason why we preferred a hyper converged infrastructure is definitely there will be some infrastructure cost saving, and also better easy management, and we no need a additional team members within our virtualization engineer can cover the both infrastructure, both servers and storage infrastructure, and that's why I mentioned here combined. Okay, so HCI combines compute, storage, and networking and virtualization into simple building blocks. Okay, so normal servers combined with storage, it's making as a HCI, and making IT infrastructure easy to procure, deploy, and manage and scale. Scale means we can either scale up or scale down. Okay, and HCI solutions are available in the form of trunky appliances. Even some companies, they are providing a predefined HCI solutions. One of the example is virtual sandbox, or you can use any other third party virtual SAN. Even virtual SAN also have some third party competitive vendors like Nutanix. So Nutanix AOS is the one of the competitor product for virtual SAN. Either you can use the appliance of VMware appliances using a HPE servers, or you can use HPE servers with Nutanix AOS also. Okay, that is called as a appliances, or as software that runs on hardware from our preferred vendor. So preferred vendor can be either HPE vendor or any of the other third party vendor like Dell, IBM, and so on. Any vendors we can use. Okay, so this is about the basic overview of hyper converged infrastructure. Now we are going to try to understand the cloud based models also. What is the difference between the all the clouds? In our cloud based models, mainly if you observe in this diagram, uh, we have private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. So let's try to understand what is private cloud. So private cloud means normally it's owned and managed by a IT organization. So any company, suppose your company is Capgemini. Capgemini is one of the organization. That organization is trying to manage their infrastructure. That is nothing but a private cloud and public cloud. So public cloud means managed by CSP. CSP means cloud service providers. In our current market, most popular public cloud vendors are three vendors: Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So these three are the top three providers for public cloud. Apart from these three top three providers, nowadays even other companies also started introducing the public clouds, which are all HPE also introduced the public cloud and private cloud products. That product name is HPE GreenLake. Similarly, we also have Alibaba Cloud, Oracle Cloud. These also started introducing their own clouds, private and public. Okay, so whatever the vendor is started releasing, but the entire core concept is same. Only the terminology different, concept is same. And hybrid cloud, the terminology is hybrid. Hybrid means if you have a combination of private and public is nothing but a hybrid cloud. So same point I mentioned here, combination of both private and public cloud. But one benefit of hybrid cloud is we have a communication, flexible communication from on premises VM. Owned means it's on premises, or we can say private cloud VM. Private cloud VM easy to communicate with the public, and public VM easy to communicate with private. That flexibility is available only with a hybrid cloud. Let's say if you do not have any hybrid cloud option, public cloud VM cannot communicate to private, and even the private cloud VM cannot communicate to public. That is the drawback. So if you need a communication between private and public, the best thing is we need to use any hybrid cloud supported software. And today vRealize automation also, it's supported for multi-cloud management. Multi-cloud management means it will also support for a both private, public and hybrid. All layers you can freely use the vRealize automation, but only thing is it requires some additional plugins and API. API means application program interfaces. If you have some plugins and application program interfaces, it will allows you to communicate not only on premises, you can communicate in private cloud, you can communicate in public cloud, you can communicate in the hybrid cloud. Okay, anywhere you can communicate using vRealize automation. And try to understand the definitions for private, public, hybrid and multi. As we discussed, public cloud means it is a cloud computing that's delivered via internet and shared across organization. So there will be a n number of organizations can use public cloud. And private cloud, it is cloud computing that is dedicated solely to our organization. It's only dedicated for a one organization only. That is called private cloud. And hybrid cloud, it is any environment that uses both public and private clouds. Okay, but there will be some benefits in the hybrid cloud. In the next slide, I will show you what is the benefit of hybrid cloud. And multi-cloud, multi-cloud means it is a combination of hybrid cloud and any additional cloud. Any additional cloud means you can use either private or public, anything you can use. Okay, so let's elaborate the importance of each cloud models. So each cloud we have I'm trying to explain the comparison between private, public and hybrid cloud. Obviously, if you are using a hybrid cloud, there will be a better outcome. And private cloud, it's like a privately shared virtualized resources. Here, virtualized resource means it's not only limited for VMs, it's also a network components as well as storage components. All are considered as a virtualized resources. And public cloud, even publicly shared virtualized resources. And hybrid cloud, combination of both private and public. Sorry for the typo. Okay. So here, when you see here, the combination of both private and public. And suppose in the private cloud, the cluster of dedicated customers. So private cloud is only for dedicated for only few customers. It's not dedicated for a public. When comes to the public cloud, it's supported for multiple customers. There will be across the globe, anyone can log into public cloud website and they can subscribe. And hybrid cloud, it's a combination of both private and public. And another point, the connectivity for the private cloud is you can connect over the internet or VPN connection, virtual private network. Using VPN only, we can connect our office networks also. The similar way we can connect to the private cloud. And public cloud also, there is an option to support connectivity over the internet only. And hybrid, obviously, it's a combination of both. And private cloud, it's a suited for secured confidential information and core systems. And most of, if you, the best example for this point is if your organization is near any of the bank, most of the bank servers, it's all considered as a high critical applications, and also the all the bank transaction going on through the application and web servers. Those considered as a secured and confidential information. Most of the banks, they prefer to go with a private cloud only. They don't recommend to go with a public cloud, because public cloud recommendation is it's suited for less confidential information. For example, in our organization, you can take any organization example. Suppose HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprise. In my Hewlett Packard Enterprise, I have a n number of servers. Within these servers, I divided into three categories. The three categories include: first category is test servers, second category is development server, and third category is production server. So if I want to move my servers to the cloud, what is the first preference is production servers we recommend to keep on private, and test and development server we recommend to keep on public. That is only the recommendation as per this difference. Okay, and the hybrid is combination. So suppose in my organization I'm already keeping few servers in private, and the test and development servers I keep in the public. So that means your organization already started using hybrid cloud infrastructure. And easy scalability means it's there is a flexibility to do, you can increase the servers or you can decrease the servers. And public cloud also, it's a high scalability. Even in our private cloud, we should look for a investment. What is our next investment for the new servers count? But in the public cloud, you no need to think about anything, you can simply increase your servers count. Not only servers, the entire resources you can increase. And similarly for the all the network devices as well. Okay, and come to the hybrid cloud also, the scalability is always high only. And the performance wise, private cloud, it will provide a good performance. And the public cloud also, we have a lot of flexibility means if you want a good performance, obviously the cost will be high. If you want a normal performance, cost will be less. So that is called we have a flexibility in the public cloud. And the cost also, it's like a pay as you go model. Whatever you pay, that payment only we need to pay. The better example for the pay as you go model is, suppose in our home network, like in our house, we are using a electricity. For our electricity, we are just paying the bill to the electricity. Whatever we use, that much bill only we need to pay. That is nothing but a pay as you go model. But to maintain all our home power, we no need to buy a transformer, we no need to maintain the power grids at home, because the power grid and transformers are managed by a electricity offices. So current offices, they maintain all the power grids, they maintain the transformers to distribute the power to all the locations. So same like public cloud. In the public cloud, you are no need to think about your data center, you no need to think about who is managing your virtual infrastructure, you no need to consider. You just pay the bill, whatever the virtual machines you use, whatever the network storage you use, you can pay the bill only for your usage model only. Okay, but when comes to the private cloud, we should maintain all our electricity, our transformer, everything will be within our control. Okay, but public is not like that. It's just like a home electricity. Whatever usage you used for the month, that month bill you can pay. There will be some flexibility also. Some month you may use high power, some months you may use less power. Okay, and similarly, you can also pay the cloud usage bills for the public cloud. And comes to the hybrid cloud is a high performance, but high performance also, it's like a normal based on the usages only we can pay. There will be a flexibility in hybrid cloud as well. And the compliance customization. Compliance customization means there will be a security audits for every organization. During the security audit, there will find some vulnerabilities. Some vulnerabilities should be non-compliant. Some there will be a compliant. So those kind of vulnerability scenarios, we can able to troubleshoot and fix the vulnerabilities in a private cloud. But in the public scenario, always there is a limited customization only. We do not have a flexibility because the infrastructure is managed by our cloud service provider, so they will take care about the compliance metrics. Okay, and the hybrid also, it will help you to minimize your security risks. And the cost wise, obviously private cloud cost is high, and the public cloud dynamic cost means based on your usage only we need to pay, and there will be no maintenance cost because we are not maintaining the data center servers. The public means completely taken care by cloud provider, but in the private cloud, servers still with us only, so that's why cost is very high. And here it's a dynamic cost subjected to be based on your usage only. And hybrid model, it's a improved cost. Why we mention improved cost is the most critical servers you still maintain in the private, and the less critical server you can move it to the public. That means our cost will be controlled within our control. And expensive with the same high cost point, I try to explain in the some other terminology. Expensive with high TCO. TCO means total cost of operations. All the every operational cost we consider as a high TCO. The always in the private cloud it's a high TCO, and public cloud is a potential for high TCO, and here also potential for high TCO. And dedicated and secure infra by design. Obviously, the private cloud is always a dedicated and secure infra, and public cloud is a less technical control because the in the back end, what customer is maintaining, what secure infra they're maintaining, we are not sure. We are just log into the Amazon portal, we are creating the VMs. The backend infrastructure is not in our control. So that's why we mention as a less technical control. And hybrid infrastructure, it's completely policy driven deployment. Based on your policy only you can follow. Suppose your company policy is all your production keep on private, and the test and development you can keep on public. That is a one of the policy driven example. And examples for private cloud, we have an example for private cloud is HPE GreenLake, and VMware product is vRealize suite. Within the vRealize suite, the private cloud software name is VCF. VCF means VMware Cloud Foundation. And we also have one dedicated private cloud software name is vRealize Automation. Okay, and public cloud, even in the public cloud, the most popular public cloud vendors are AWS, Azure, GCP. Along with three, there will be a plenty of private cloud software, public cloud softwares are coming nowadays. So I given another example is HPE GreenLake, and we also have Alibaba Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and all. But compared to AWS, Azure, and GCP, these three only always top one to three. Okay, and even vRealize automation also supported for a public cloud infrastructure. And vRealize automation still we are supporting for both private and public means again it's considered as a hybrid cloud as well. Okay, and if you are using any one additional private cloud, our vRA is considered as a multi-cloud management software. Okay, now we'll go little deeper on how this cloud computing software provide the services. See, types of cloud computing services. This service model is common for every vendor. So I just collected from the internet website. This is always every company, whatever the cloud it is, this is the services they are providing. Let's start discussing from column one first. Let's say the first column, if you observe, it's a traditional model. Traditional model, we can also say on-premises IT. In our on-premises IT, if you see, this is only infrastructure components. We require a data center. Obviously, we require a data center space. Within the data center, you can keep your physical servers. To maintain the large data, we require a storage. To communicate between all servers, we require a network devices. So these three all are the considered as a traditional infrastructure components. Within the traditional infrastructure component, for better management, we are configuring a virtualization. Virtualization, you can install VMware vSphere ESXi, or there will be some competitive vendors, which is Microsoft Hyper-V, or we can use Oracle KVM. Those two also hypervisor facility are providing, but compared to Microsoft Hyper-V, Oracle KVM. The current market leading provider of virtualization software is VMware only. So virtualization, we have three examples. Anything you can use, but most of the companies they prefer to use VMware vSphere only. On top of the VMware vSphere, we can maintain the virtual machine, including the all virtual machine running with operating system and multiple applications. You can use application, all your application data we can store on the databases, and any files and folders or your project related data also we can store on a on premises. This is the first column. Everything is managed by our company only within the first column. Suppose the business second business model is, in my organization, I want to maintain a disaster recovery site. Disaster recovery site means one office is running in a, let's say, Hyderabad. I have my primary office in Uppal location. This is the Uppal is the location name. My primary location is Uppal. For disaster recovery purpose, if I want to configure a disaster recovery site within a city, you can configure in a different location. That is called co-location, or we can call it as a secondary site or passive site. Anything additional site we consider as a co-location. But in the co-location, we have two options. Either you can invest your own money and purchase the data center location, or we can have a facility to purchase from another, like take the rental data center. So rental data center means, here I highlighted in the black color, it is managed by others. Others means any of the provider. Okay. So they will provide the data center, but equipment is our company equipment. We have a server, storage, network, whatever components in the on-premises, same components we are managing. This is nothing but one of the business model. We call it as a co-location model. The purpose of co-location is it's maintained for a secondary site. Suppose my organization, all the data is running on my production site. All of the sudden, there is some disaster happen, either building fire accident or any unexpected situation, the data center is down. So there will be huge impact to your business. To avoid that situation, every company they maintain a second location also, that is called co-location. Okay. So this co-location purpose is, in case of disaster recovery, you can access all your application servers data from a second location. Okay. So these two are there common for every organization. Suppose you are going to start a new business, but new business you do not have a much infrastructure. So that time also there is another business model, that is called hosting business model. You no need to maintain your data center, network, storage and servers. You can take the rental from any of the other vendor. That vendor will provide the infrastructure. On top, you can install the ESX server, create a virtual machine, install operating system, and do your project related application, data and databases. This model is called it as a hosting services. So that means we are providing hosting services to the other customers, but our data center is not our own data center. We took the rent from a other vendor. This is one type of business model. And even within a cloud computing services, whatever the vendor, either Amazon, AWS or Google Cloud, another three business models are most popular in the current market. Everything is considered as a AAS. AAS means anything as a service. So within the anything as a service, the most popular cloud computing services are IaaS. IaaS full form is infrastructure as a service. And another one is PaaS. PaaS means platform as a service, and SaaS means software as a service. Let's talk about IaaS first. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. So let's say here we have black color icons. See, the same like traditional, but only thing is this data center, network, storage, physical infrastructure, actually everything is managed by AWS. Let's take the example of Amazon AWS. So Amazon only maintaining all the virtualization software and everything. But when you subscribe for a infrastructure as a service model, our requirement is we can log into the public website and we can start creating a virtual machine. When you create a virtual machine, we need to install the operating system and create the application data. For data to maintain large data, we recommend to go with the database servers and also application servers, and also there will be some project related data. These all only the blue color highlighted one is managed by our company. The remaining all managed by cloud provider. So this is model, call it as a infrastructure as a service. That means why they mention infrastructure as a service means they are providing only infrastructure. They are not providing a virtual machines and all. This again we managed, our company will manage. Okay, but most of the time infrastructure as a service is preferred. Like a, suppose you want to start one BPO organization, you have a plan to start one startup organization. If you want to start a startup organization, we no need to purchase the data center, entire data center in the initial stage, because most of the startup companies, they don't have a initial investment. During that scenario, the best method is you can go for a public cloud. They will provide the complete infrastructure, then you can deploy your startup related application, database and data. So this business model is considered as a infrastructure as a service. Okay, and the example of clouds, as we discussed, Amazon AWS, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud. These are the most popular cloud service providers. And come to the PaaS. PaaS means platform as a service. And here the example is, here not only VMs, operating system, database, everything is managed by cloud provider only. We just install application and data. This application and data is managed by our company. So best example is, suppose for traveling purpose, nowadays we are using a Ola cab application, and also we can use some application like Uber. So Uber we are installing on our mobile. So that means the application is Uber application, and all your personal account data, transaction history, everything is on a Uber application. But the you are no need to worry about Uber application where it is running, which virtual machine the application is running actually in the background, and who is managing and all. We no need to worry. We are just taking the platform of one application. On top of the application, we are storing our all the users data. So for platform as a service, one of the best example is any of the mobile applications. All mobile applications considered as a platform as a service. So one best example we discussed about Uber. Uber application is a PaaS application. Even the backend, they no need to maintain the any of the data center. Everything is maintained by cloud service provider. They are worried about only their application and data, all the users transaction traveling data. Okay, and now come to the SaaS. SaaS means software as a service. Within the software as a service, if you see, complete data center to all the infrastructure, even the platform, OS, database, application also managed by vendor, but our company manage only data. So can anyone guess what is the best example for software as a service? For software as a service,
Office 360.
yeah, Office 365. Very good. That is a example. Office 365. We no need to worry about Office application where it is running, which VM running, where the Office 365 data is storing, and even the virtualization backend, physical server, and all nothing in our hand. We are just started using the Office 365 data. That data can be either Office 365 Outlook, MS Office Outlook, MS Office Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These all considered as a Office 365 components. So we are just to subscribe to the Microsoft subscription. You can take the software as a service subscription, and you can start the storing the data. All your employees data is stored directly on a public cloud. Okay, and another example for software as a service is Google Drive. Even when you start using the Gmail account, they will provide a free Google account, Google Drive for 15 GB of free space. That is also software as a service. They are providing a free cloud drive, and another softwares like Dropbox you can use, and any of the other third-party vendors also providing a SaaS software as a service options. Okay, so hope you understand how the cloud computing business models are working. The underlying concept is still the traditional concept only, but only thing is business model is changed. This business model depends on our customer requirement. Suppose our company is a startup company. For startup company, I don't have initial investment. I no need to invest on the data center, all the equipment. Then better you go for a infrastructure as a service. Again, let's say you don't have your manpower to maintain your operating system and database, then you go for a platform as a service. Still you want to reduce your cost and initial cost and all, go for a SaaS. It's completely depends on the customer requirement and demand. Based on their demand and supply, they will go for a respective correlated business models. Okay, but as I mentioned earlier, the most critical and secure application better go with a private cloud, and for the less critical servers you can go for a public cloud. Okay, example for a more critical means bank. Most of the banks they prefer to go with a private cloud only. And the normal organization, startup, small scale, medium scale organization, even the large organization also, they want to maintain a disaster recovery site. Instead of buying a new data center, they can maintain disaster recovery site directly on a public cloud. That is also one of the preferred solution. Okay. So this is a complete high level overview for cloud computing services model. Okay. Just a second, someone trying to log in. Okay, so now if you see the cloud servicing model, just now we discussed about the types of cloud computing services. So hope you have an idea on what is the different business models and all. Now I'm trying to give you one example for cloud computing model. Okay, I took the example for Microsoft Azure. In our normal traditional IT, see here it mentioned as you manage. You manage means our IT organization manage. It manage all networking, storage, servers, virtualization, operating system. There is a word called middleware. Middleware is a one of the example for application. This middleware application purpose is it is integrated between application and operating system. Okay, that is called middleware. The name itself says middleware. It's always integrate between the your application runtime and also the operating system. Okay, a best example for middleware is our ATM machines. ATM machines, when you do trying to do your transaction, when you insert your ATM card, it will first verify all your details. Your details are once are correct, then it will trigger to your account and it will start doing your transaction. Okay, during that scenario, the backend used application, one of the application is middleware. And this is the complete packaged software for traditional IT. When it comes to the cloud infrastructure, as we discussed, IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Our Microsoft is managing the your virtualization, servers, storage, and networking. The rest of all the traditional components is managed by our company, that is called IaaS, infrastructure as a service. And Microsoft Azure, not only for IaaS, it is also providing a platform as a service. Maybe there are some customers, they don't want to use a uh, infrastructure and all, like any travel applications, your mobile application is the best example for platform as a service. Suppose grab is and a grab food, grab transport is a one of the application. If you want to order any food online, we can use Swiggy orders or grab food orders. This is a one of the application we can run on our mobile, but the backend, all the servers, application, everything is taken care by your Microsoft cloud. Not only Microsoft, any of the third party cloud. But our concern is only installation of application and data only we will manage. Okay, and it comes to the software as a service. The software as a service best example is Office 365. Office 365 is providing a combination of MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Visio, Microsoft OneNote, Microsoft Outlook. All are the comes with a Microsoft Office 365. But you no need to worry about all your employees' data and all. It's completely taken care by Microsoft. Okay, but our job is only to subscribe to Office 365. You can get the licenses for Office 365. We no need to worry about all the backend infrastructure. Everything is taken care by Microsoft. Okay, so this is the one example for cloud computing model. So until now, we discussed about the cloud information, what is private, public, and hybrid, and the combination of private and public is nothing but a hybrid. And multi-cloud, the naming wise, it's a multi-cloud, but the logic wise, multi-cloud means it's a just a combination of hybrid cloud, and it's a additional of any cloud is nothing but a multi-cloud. But don't confuse about the terminology. Always the concept is same. Even when you see the business model also, still the traditional concepts are same, but only thing is business models are different. Okay, so there is one internet joke also for the all computing models. This is the joke. What we understand about the cloud. See, there is no cloud. It's just a device in the someone else data center. Obviously, it's correct. It's a someone else data center only. Even if you see Google Drive, it's not. We are not managing Google Drive server. It's managing by Google. And even the YouTube, we are not managing the YouTube data store, YouTube servers and all. It's managed by someone. But we are still trying to use. So that's why it says device, it's a someone else data center. And Dropbox, any files, any file share portals, Office 365, music, and anything is considered as a cloud only. But cloud means it's generally nothing. That terminology is cloud, but generally there is no cloud. It's just someone else data center. We are trying to manage. Okay. And now let's try to understand the SDDC. SDDC means software defined data center. So we'll start with the software defined data center overview. In our previous session also, we discussed the software defined data center. In a software defined data center, all infrastructure is virtualized. So let's try to understand the first point. All infrastructure virtualized means, if you see in the left side, first one, physical infrastructure have main key components are compute, storage, network. But this physical infrastructure is virtualized. Virtualized means in our virtual infrastructure layer, for compute, example is hypervisor. Hypervisor means ESXi host, and pool of resources. Pool of resources means you can use the resource is nothing but a network and storage. This is considered as a pool of resources. Pool of resources mixed of CPU, memory, disk, and NIC, and all are a virtualization control. So we no need to manage physically. We already have all virtual components that is considered as a virtual infrastructure. So the same point I mentioned here, all infrastructure is virtualized, and the control of data center is automated by software. See, nowadays we no need to go for a physical layer. Even one virtualization engineer easy to managed by software. To maintain the compute software ESXi, we are using a vCenter server. Virtual center server, it allows you to manage multiple ESXi hosts, and also it will allows you to manage software defined storage, which is virtual SAN, or there will be a third party storages, which is Nutanix AOS. And network scenario, our software defined network name is NSX. NSX network virtualization software name. This NSX also in our previous scenarios we have NSXV, but this year NSXV product is completely expired and VMware started using a NSX-T. NSX-T means software defined networking transformers. That is the latest network virtualization software. Okay, so all are automated by softwares. So vSphere is the foundation of your SDDC. So we already familiar with vSphere. vSphere means it's a combination of ESXi and vCenter server. So until these two boxes we are familiar. Now let's go little top. There is a concept called cloud automation. So cloud automation means you no need to confuse. We know already the word of cloud. What is cloud and all? Any business model, our customer always look for a automation. What is the automation we are going to achieve? Before start the automation, I will try to explain one example. Let's say, let me take the one Excel sheet, one blank Excel sheet. I'm just categorizing the organization in a three scale organization. Let's say organization scale. Let's say my organizations are three types: small, medium, and large. And within my organization, let's say physical infrastructure. My physical infrastructure, we have ESXi hosts. Let's say I have the ESXi hosts are three ESXi hosts. When it comes to medium scale, let's say 30 ESXi hosts, and large scale, I have a 300 plus ESXi hosts. And when your infrastructure size is moving, even your virtual machine count also will increase. Let's say my ESX host count is 3 ESX host in the small organization, and virtual machine roughly we can install the on 3 ESX host, we can install a 50 virtual machine. If your organization size is become a medium, we require virtual machine count will increase to 500, and your large organization, your infrastructure size will become 5,000 plus. I just took a small example. So how the infrastructure size is increased. So in this example, we have a small, medium, and large. Let's say our infrastructure is completely deployed. Once your infrastructure is ready, there will be some day-to-day operations. So day-to-day operations means we have to perform the maintenance for all our infrastructure. So during the day-to-day operations, this building of ESX virtual machine is considered as a day one operation, and the day two operation means day to day, or we can in short form, we call it as day two operations as well. So during the day two operations, there is some multiple scenarios like whenever ESXi host is down, it's our responsibility. The scenarios like ESX servers down, virtual machine down, and any performance issues, these are all taken care by our day-to-day operations. Even suppose my organization is a small scale organization. Whenever your ESX server is down, only one ESX server is down, and the manpower work is only even one person is easy to manage the your infrastructure. So I just put the another column for manpower. Here one resource is enough to manage. When your infrastructure count is increased to 30 ESX and virtual machine is 500, it's approximately 530. So we require minimum resource are 2 to at least we can require a 2 to 4 resources for your infrastructure. When your infrastructure is increased to 300 plus, can you imagine now how many resources are required? Let me change the format number. Okay, so at least we required a 2 manpower. If your infrastructure is increased to 300 plus, the manpower we required minimally 5, or sometimes we may go for a large count also. So 5 to 10 or 5 to members are really needed to maintain this infrastructure. So why we our manpower is keep on increasing means obviously our ESXi host count is more. When your ESXi host count more and virtual machine count more, our manpower also required. Why we required this and all? Normally in our real-time organizations, we need to maintain a latest patching for all your ESXi host as well as virtual machines. So virtual machines, when you want to do the patching, there will be a multiple flavors of OS. Like we have a Windows flavor OS, and we also have Linux flavor OS, and we also have a Solaris flavor OS and ESXi. So all these flavors of operating systems, we are the responsible persons to install the latest patch. So if you want to do a patch for 5000 VMs and you have a resource are only 5 members, can you imagine how long will it take? Normally within a 1 month, even per day, if you do the few hosts also 5% or 10%, you can take the average. Let's say 300 ESX hosts, I divided by 10. What is the value is, just put the equal in front. The value is 30. So that means per day we can finish only uh, even the 10 members is started doing one host, it will be only 30 hosts we can finish. And along with the ESXi host patching, we have to do the health checks and we have to take care the regular operations for your 5000 virtual machines. So during these two scenarios, even our manpower is always busy to do some activities. Some may focus on the patching, some may focus on the incidents, some may focus on the changes. So those points I'm trying to type here. So there will be a chances of incidents, changes, and requests, and also the maintenance activities. See, these all activities, if you want to perform by 5 members or 10 members, always there is a multiple workload to maintain all this load. Incidents means your server down is considered as an incident, or any virtual machine down also considered as a incident. And change, if you want to increase your virtual machine CPU, virtual machine memory, or if you want to update your virtual machine application from one OS to another OS, like let's say my virtual machine OS is running with 2019, I want to upgrade my Windows OS to 2019 to 2022. That is a upgrade task. And similarly, if you want to do a application upgrade, like my application is running with SQL 2014, I want to update it with a latest SQL version. That is a application upgrade. All this 3000, 5000 virtual machine, always there will be some changes. Changes on your hardware level, application level, and OS level. Hardware level means our physical servers. Even the hardware also require a some of the firmwares we need to perform every time, and OS also require a latest patch. Same like our mobile, how we are updating the latest application and latest OS software. Similarly for servers also. So during that scenario, our team is always busy with the our day-to-day operations. They are busy with the incidents, they are busy with the changes. Changes means any type of version update or upgrade. Update means patch, upgrade means version upgrade. And there will be some request. Even sometime customer may say our current requirement is 5000 virtual machine. There is a new project. For the new project, we require a 100 plus virtual machine. So that is called one request. This request not like VM creation. customer may ask any question to provide some additional information and all. This and all consider as a request. And maintenance is nothing but every month we need to maintain the all the patching, and also we maintain the backup for all the servers. These all the high level overview of all our activity. We need to maintain the vulnerability management system, and also we need to maintain antivirus software for all the systems. This all comes under our day-to-day operations. So when your infrastructure size is big, even either your 500 virtual machines or 5000 virtual machine, daily there will be a plenty of tasks we have to perform. So if you want to do manually, even if your infrastructure size manpower is 10 also, it's not enough to do all your work. Obviously there will be a handful of work, and even if you do continuously also, still there will be some pending work. So to avoid this situation, to address this scenario, VMware released the product called vRealize Automation. So this vRealize Automation purpose is there will be a service catalog. Service catalog means it provide all the list of menu items, what are all the service you need. Using that service catalog, this service catalog is already integrated with a self-service portal. In that portal, we have a catalog. Based on your catalog items, you can click on the catalog request. Automatically orchestration means it will provide a automatic workflow. So you no need to worry about manual process. This cloud automation, the name itself automation, this tool will take care the backend automation process. But as a automation engineer or as a automation solution consultant, we should aware how this vRealize automation have to deploy and how we can configure and manage. These concepts I will explain in the later sessions. But try to understand the purpose of vRealize automation. The main purpose of vRealize automation is to do the automation work. Let's say in our vSphere environment, if I want to deploy a 100 plus virtual machine, normally how long will it take? We need to create a virtual machine and convert that virtual machine to template. Using the template, you can deploy a multiple virtual machines. But before VMware, if you want to deploy 100 servers in the physical environment, to order your 100 servers to the any third party vendors, it may take few months to deliver 100 servers. But when it comes to the virtualization, if you are using a vSphere environment using the template, we can deploy the virtual machine instead of months. We can deploy 100 virtual machines within a week. That means the deployment time reduced from month to weeks. But now when it comes to the automation, cloud automation, vRealize automation, you can deploy the virtual machine within hours and minutes. That is the importance of automation software. If you use the automation tool, definitely there will be some benefit. One of the key benefit is your deployment time will be reduced, and it will help you to easily manage, and you can also provide a self-service portal to all your customers. You no need to worry about backend tasks. Your customer will, from the self-service portal, they will provide they will request for one of the catalog item. Catalog item, one request is nothing but a virtual machine creation request or virtual machine CPU memory increase request, anything. When they submit a request from the service catalog, it will provision and keep it ready within hour, less than hour and minutes. That is the importance of automation. But how it will work in the background, that technical concepts we have to learn. Okay, and within the cloud automation, within a SDDC environment, there will be some additional cloud operation tools, which includes monitoring. We require a monitoring also. When your infrastructure is ready, we keep on monitor all your device status is healthy or not. To verify the health status, we need to configure some monitoring tools. One of the best monitoring tool from the VMware is vRealize Operations Manager. This vRealize Operation Manager is a capable of monitor all your physical infrastructure, virtual infrastructure, as well as your cloud automation infrastructure. Everything can be monitored. When we have a monitoring tool, it's easy for you. Even during the night time, any server is down or non-business servers or business servers, any server down or anything, you will get be notified. Either notification can be either SMS or email. Okay, and logging also one of the important tool in the cloud operations. In our VMware concepts, one of the logging tool name is vRealize Log Insight. This tool will help you to maintain the all your old logs. Okay, mainly for retention purpose and archival data. And lifecycle management, this is also one of the key concept. In our following slide, I will explain in detail. and there will be a business continuity also. During the business continuity, mainly we can use for a backup and restore purpose, and also our data center replication as well as disaster recovery purposes. This all comes under the business continuity. And VMware also providing one of the disaster recovery product, that product name SRM. SRM means Site Recovery Manager. Okay, in our later sessions I will explain in detail for SRM concept. And security and compliance, even every company we require a security and compliances. This security compliance mainly to each employee should maintain individual account, so identity and account access management, and we should not recommend to use a group admin account. We should have a individual accounts to connect our infrastructure. And in industry regulations, always they have a some security regulations and security policies. Okay, so this is about the basic overview of software defined data center. So now I'll going to explain you why we realize automation. So I'm not going you the complete in detail information. I'm trying to give you the high level importance of why we realize automation. See, in the we realize automation, there is a infrastructure IT challenges, infrastructure challenges. That challenges include manual process causing high OPEX. OPEX means operational expenditure. Earlier in our Excel sheet, we discussed about some of the operational expenditure. See, to maintain all this infrastructure, we require minimally 10 people manpower is needed to maintain all your day-to-day operations. We can say in short form day-to operations. To maintain all your incidents, changes, requests, all the maintenance activities, we require a manpower. So, but if you want to automate this one, either you can put on a high expenditure cost, or you can go for a automation solution. That solution name is vRealize automation. This is one example. What is our IT infrastructure challenges? And another example is manual process causing provisioning delays. Obviously, when you use vSphere virtualization also, the provisioning to deploy 100 plus virtual machine, we have to wait at least minimally 1 week to complete the 100 plus virtual machine. But when comes to the vRealize automation, you no need to wait for 1 week. Even within few hours, you can deploy all your 100 plus virtual machine, because you can deploy all virtual machines concurrently using the automation tool. We no need to do any manual step. Everything is automated if you have a vRealize automation. Okay, so to address this main key challenges, we require a VRA solution. The possibility for VRA is provide a self-service portal for all IT users. Here, IT users means either your customer, your stakeholder. We can also use the word called tenants or agencies. All the tenants and agents, these terminologies are normal cloud business model terminologies, but don't confuse. IT users is nothing but either customer, end user, stakeholder, all are considered as a tenants only. Okay, so for tenants nowadays, no need to request our system engineer. They simply log into self-service portal using the backend tool is VRA. Using self-service portal, they can easily deploy the virtual machine. They can easily configure the networking, storage. Everything is automated. Then you may ask question: if everything is automated, what is our duty in the VRA? Our duty is, in case of automation tool is unable to provision virtual machine or unable to provision any of the tasks during the troubleshooting scenarios, and your vRealize automation healthy to maintain healthy, our responsibility to maintain vRealize automation tool to provide all the service catalog as well as the troubleshooting. This is our main day-to-day tasks in the vRealize automation. So let's before start with the vRealize orchestrator overview now. Is it okay to continue, or shall we take the short break? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now the concept of vRealize automation. This is the high level overview. So in this overview, let's try to understand the diagram first. See, now we have a multiple logos here, but we are familiar for all the logos now. Once we discuss, let's say in our vRealize orchestrator, This is our consider as a one end user. So one end user, he can connect to our self-service portal. That portal have a catalog items. Catalog, and also we can also use the API. API means application program interface. Let's take an example for easy understanding. Suppose if you visit any hotel, in our hotel, any normal, any kind of hotel, they will give you the menu. In that menu, you can find all the information, what are all the items available in that hotel. Either it is a breakfast item, meals item, or dinner items, whatever it is, all are considered as a menu only, the hotel available menu. Same similarly in our organization also, whatever services we are providing, all the services considered as a catalog. Okay, but if you want, if you just view this catalog, and based on your available menu, you can choose any one item to provision, like virtual machine provision, or network item provision, or adding a new virtual disk. These all considered as a catalog items. But same like in your hotel, how you see the menu, you order for any starter item. When you order a starter item, normally the hotel bearer will go inside and they will provide the information. Similarly, in our self-service portal, whenever you order some item from the catalog, the intermediate between the catalog and VRA, the intermediate item is API. API means application program interface. This API call immediately based on your catalog item, it will trigger the a program interface call to vRA. So once it reach the vRA, it will start provisioning depends on your request. How the bearer say, let's say you order for some starter item, that starter item immediately he will go to the kitchen and he will provide the whatever the items we order. Same way, same bearer functionality here it is doing by the API call, application program interface. Whatever the service we request, the same service request, it will immediate using API call, it will send to the vRealize automation. That vRealize automation, it will start provisioning depends on our request type. That request can be either virtual machine creation, or virtual machine CPU increase, memory increase, or if you want to delete the virtual machine also consider as a one of the request item. That request item, it will start doing by the VRA. We no need to do any manual intervention. It's completely automation. But in order to work the automation process, initially we have to prepare some initial setup. That initial deployment I will explain in the next slide. Okay, let's try to understand the business model, how in the VRA architecture. In vRealize architecture, if you see here, we have a infrastructure as a service. Today we discussed about IaaS components. That means IaaS, this VRA supported for IaaS, infrastructure as a service. It will also supported for software as a service, and there is a XaaS. X means anything as a service also it will provide. Like it will support for a PaaS platform as a service. That VRA have a capable of do any cloud business model. Okay, and VRA consists of main key components are cloud assembly, service broker, code stream, vRealize orchestrator. These are all when we install a VMware vRealize automation, this product automatically comes with these components. Okay, and I will explain you this component in the following slide. Individual components we can learn what is the importance of each component. Like whenever we install the vCenter server, by default vCenter server comes with some list of components, right? Similarly, our VRA also, when we install the software, it will provide the some list of possibilities and capabilities. Okay, and this is icon for a vRealize automation. And vRealize automation not limited to our cloud models, it will also have a capability to interact with your VMware vSphere, VMware Cloud Foundation. VMware Cloud Foundation is one of the private cloud software name. And vRA is also supported for a hybrid cloud infrastructure. Hybrid cloud infrastructure example product name is VMware Cloud on AWS. This is the hybrid cloud product name. And public cloud, we know public cloud mainly three vendors are popular, and vRA is able to integrate your infrastructure with public cloud as well. During the integration, it will support for a main three public cloud vendors. One is Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. So if you learn the vRealize automation, you will be familiar for the whole cloud infrastructure models. You will be familiar for private cloud model, you will be familiar for public cloud, and similarly you will be familiar for hybrid and multi-cloud. So that's the reason this vRealize automation is considered as a multi-cloud management tool. So let's try to understand the description now. So the description is vRealize automation is a modern infrastructure automation platform. Okay, it is designed to help organizations implement self-service hybrid clouds. So self-service means only the end user directly log into the portal, they will request anything. They can request in a private cloud as well as hybrid. Okay, hybrid means we know combination of private and public, and not only limited for hybrid cloud, they can also request in the multi-cloud automation with governance. Governance means it's a kind of control and authenticity. Okay, and automation with governance and DevOps based infrastructure delivery. DevOps means development and operations. DevOps also one of the key concept. DevOps tools is mainly used for automation purpose. So vRA also start using the some of the DevOps integrated tools. Okay, and besides, vRA increases the productivity and agility through self-service capabilities and deliver as a DevOps ready automation platform. Okay, this is about the vRealize automation complete overview. And the next slide, I'm trying to explain how we can deploy the vRealize automation. So vRealize architecture, there is a standard deployment. As we know, vRA full form is vRealize automation. Within the vRealize architecture, we have a two types of deployment. One is standard deployment and another one is clustered deployment. So in this slide, I'm trying to explain a standard deployment. Standard deployment means let's talk about the diagram first. Okay. So in this diagram, if you see the first vRA installation initial process is we need to download the vRealize suite lifecycle manager. In short form, we call it as a LCM. LCM means Lifecycle Manager. When you install the vRealize Lifecycle Manager, it will start, install, configure, and manage. When you install vSphere vRealize Lifecycle Manager, in short form LCM, when you install LCM, this will help you to install a Identity Manager. Identity Manager, we have another name called Workspace One. Okay, either you can say Workspace One or you can say Identity Manager. It will configure Identity Manager appliance using LCM. Similarly, same LCM, it will also help you to deploy the vRA appliance. Like during the vCenter installation time, when we install the vCenter server, it's installing all the vSphere client component and platform service controller. It will install the lifecycle manager, some additional components installed along with vCenter server. Similarly, here also, the vRA installation procedure is first we have to download the LCM product. Using the LCM, it will help you to deploy the IDM. IDM means identity management, or we can call it as workspace one. And it will also deploy LCM will also deploy the vRA appliance. vRA also, it's only the photon based appliance only. There is no we no need to install any operating system. It's a predefined virtual appliance from the VMware. Okay, and let's try to understand the same point I mentioned in the description. The standard deployment is used mainly for proof of concept, POC, proof of concept for and small environment. For small environment only, this setup is recommended. Standard deployment is recommended. This deployment includes the following components. So components include lifecycle manager, identity manager, and vRealize automation. Okay, and the standard deployment includes the three appliances. vRealize Lifecycle Manager is deployed first. So we have to deploy the first Lifecycle Manager, and then vRealize Suite Lifecycle Manager is used to deploy and manage Identity Manager, and followed by vRealize Automation. Okay, so when only three appliances are ready. When we install these three appliances, you are good to do the vRealize automation configurations and manage setup. Okay, this is the for small environment, we recommend to configure only three appliances. Now let's talk about large organizations. Let's say large organization, what is the recommended vRA structure? So that structure, we call it as a clustered deployment. So this slide, I'm trying to explain vRealize architecture clustered deployment. Within this clustered deployment, this cluster deployment used in a large enterprises and has the following architecture. So when you see our previous architecture, we have only the three components, three appliances only we have. LCM, IDM, Identity Manager, and vRealize appliance. But when comes to the cluster is nothing but a grouping of multiple nodes. So grouping of multiple node means they are using a multiple IDM, they are using a multiple vRA appliances. Why we are using a cluster means it's mainly for high availability and load balancing. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's try to understand the cluster deployment. I am trying to explain the diagram first. Let's say we have a LCM, but here the IDMs are, we have a three IDMs, VMware Identity Manager 1, 2, 3. We have three IDMs. To maintain these three IDMs, we also configure a load balancer. The load balancer also highlighted here. And similarly, we have a virtual appliances. We realize automation appliance. In short form, VRA 1, VRA 2, VRA 3. Three appliances. These three are clustered appliances. These three also managed using one of the load balancer. This load balancer will help you to maintain the load. Let's say all of the sudden my users send a 10 requests at a time. These 10 requests, this VRA will distribute the load among the three appliances. That is a purpose of load balancer. And even not only when we do the clustering, it will also provide a high availability feature. High availability means in case of one VRA appliance is down, nothing will affect your production. The other two will take care your ongoing automation requests. Okay, and the same points I mentioned in the below. It includes one VRLI appliance. VRLI means Lifecycle Manager appliance. LCM appliance. Sorry, there is a typo. LCM appliance, and one or three IDMs. You can maintain either one IDM or you can maintain a three IDMs for load balancing purpose, and three VRE appliances. Normally for LCM, we no need a additional LCM, because one LCM is enough to start the deployment. Okay, because it's a less critical component. The main critical components are IDM and VRA. And a load balancer, in short form LB, a load balancer is required for this deployment. This deployment achieves high availability. So I highlighted this point, high availability. And this deployment type is recommended for production environment. So normally for production environment, we always go with a clustered deployment. For the small environment like test and development, you can go with a standard deployment. Okay, so this is one of the interview question. In the interviews, they may ask, what is a vRealize automation architecture types? You can explain that. We have two types of architecture, standard deployment and cluster deployment. When it comes to the cluster standard deployment, we require three appliances. One is lifecycle manager, identity manager, and automation. When it comes to the clustered architecture, you can maintain minimally one IDM or three IDMs, but VRA, we must maintain minimally three VRA appliances. Okay, so this is about the VRA deployment process. Now we are going to talk about VRA components. So vRealize automation components. So vRealize automation, we can also call it as modern event-driven infrastructure automation. Modern event means all our day-to-day events. All the events will be driven by this automation tool. Okay, and within the vRealize automation, in our first slide, during the initial architecture, we mentioned the product main components, right? Cloud assembly, service broker, code stream, and architecture. The same components I'm trying to explain now. Okay, so and if you try to understand the diagram first, see this we are mainly for multi-cloud journey. Multi-cloud means now we familiar these words: private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. See, hybrid means when you mix with the private and public, it is nothing but a hybrid cloud. Okay, so anywhere you can use VRA automation concept, but the concepts are same anywhere you can use. Either you can use on dedicated private environment, you can use dedicated public, or you can use for a hybrid environment. Okay, but the concept is same. And within the vRealize automation, let's start discussing the two concepts we discussed these two. Lifecycle manager we start using during the initial setup. When we install LCM, it will help you to provision a workspace one access. Workspace one access, another name is identity manager. Okay, so identity manager and VRA will comes using a LCM installation only. Okay, and now come to the vRealize automation component. The main key components are four components. One is code stream. The name itself, it says code. Code means any kind of automation codes you can try to do streamline, like DevOps related CI CD, continuous integration, continuous development pipelines. You can run within the code stream. And cloud assembly. Assembly is nothing but a most of your all your infrastructure application delivery, everything, all your requests, everything, it will comes under the cloud assembly. And a service broker is nothing but a, it's a service catalog. It maintain all your company infrastructure services. Like for example, earlier we discussed about the our cloud based services. What cloud based services we have is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and we also have a service called software as a service. Any type of service request you can configure in a VRA as well, because VRA also have a capable of doing all cloud based services. All your service list of services requests, you can put your menu items in a service broker. Okay, and orchestrator is the one main intelligence of VRA product. All your workflow engine will run in a orchestration component. Okay, the same definitions I mentioned in the right side description. In the cloud assembly, try to understand the definition. Orchestrator and expedites is nothing but a speed up infrastructure and application delivery in line with the DevOps principles. Okay, so we should also learn about what is DevOps. It's a development and operation principles. Okay, and the service broker is nothing but a service catalog, and it will aggregate some native content from multiple clouds and platforms into a single catalog with tag based policies. These tag based policies include multiple tags like a constraint tags and capability tags. This tag concept is very important in vRealize automation. I will explain in detail in the later sessions. Okay, and code stream, and the code stream also speeds software delivery and streamline the troubleshooting with the release pipelines and analytics. This is the capable of code stream. And vRealize orchestrator mainly to drag and drop workflow. Whatever the request we have in the service broker, all the request workflow will comes from the orchestrator only. So drag and drop workflow software that simplifies the automation of complex IT task. Any automation task, we can create a workflow in a orchestrator level. Okay, and the lifecycle manager, we know lifecycle manager mainly for a initial deployment. The same point, complete lifecycle and content management capabilities for vRealize suite. Do you want to purchase a VRA? The license name is vRealize suite. When you buy a license for vRealize suite, it will comes with all the VRA products like vRealize automation, LCM, vRealize operations manager, vRealize login site. This all comes with a vRealize suite product only. Okay, and workspace one access is mainly for a authentication and user identity management. Suppose your tenants, we have a multiple agencies or multiple customers. All your customers account information, tenant details is managed by the workspace one access. It's a, if you take the example of in our windows we have a concept of active directory, that is in the Windows server scenario. But when comes to the vRealize automation scenario, to maintain all your multiple tenants information and providing the access to your tenants, we need to create all your accounts under the workspace one access. It's not only for the tenants, even to maintain your infrastructure management layer users accounts also we can maintain under the workspace one access. The another name for workspace one access is identity manager. Okay, now I'm trying to explain the VRA capabilities. I will give you the quick overview of capabilities, and in detail explanation we'll do in the later sessions. And later sessions we'll start the lab with VRA deployment first. Once we familiar with the deployment, then we'll start talk about the each individual components of cloud assembly, service broker, code stream, and orchestrator. Okay, so the VRA capabilities, there are plenty of capabilities. As I mentioned, VRA is mainly for a multi-cloud management tool. So this capabilities includes all the areas of capabilities. So the first one is anything as a service. So it's provide all the anything as a service and application provisioning. Even if you want to install any application on your virtual machine, you no need to install manually. You can install using a vRealize automation. And another point, automated self-service with unified service catalog. This service catalog we can create under the service broker. All you no need to do anything. Your customer directly log into the VRA self-service portal. From the portal, he will request. Once he submit the request, everything will done automatically in the backend and that deliver to the end user. Okay, every process is automated. But in order to run that process automatically, as a vRealize automation engineer, we have to prepare a respective workflows in the backend. Okay, that is our main core technical concept. Okay, and the centralized policy and control. You can maintain the centralized policies. Okay, and the cloud agnostic blueprints. You can create any blueprint. Like blueprint is nothing but it's a master image of virtual machine. It's include not only the OS image, you can do in some additional network components, storage, and so on. All these blueprints, cloud agnostic blueprint is nothing but it's not only dedicated for your on premises, the same cloud template you can use directly on public or you can use for a private as well. Okay, and extensibility with vRealize Orchestrator. vRealize Orchestrator mainly to maintain all your day-to-day task workflows. And we also have another concept of ABX, action-based extensibility. For here, we can also do some of the function as a service options. Function as a service today, first session we discussed, first slide, fast function as a service. Those workflows we can run directly on a ABX level. Okay, and the governance and the compliance policies, it can control and do the all the compliance policies. And hybrid cloud with VMware Cloud on AWS, this is one of the tool name. VMware Cloud on AWS also we can able to integrate with vRealize automation. And IaaS service, it will provide infrastructure as a service. That means we can maintain all infrastructure by VRA, and the remaining thing we can provide the access to the customers. Okay, and infrastructure as code. This code is nothing but you can prepare the code using any of the Ansible, Terraform, or you can use any of the third party automation codes. Those code you can use to provision the virtual machine. So VRA, not only in the VRA level capabilities, you can use some third party code. That code also you can deploy in the VRA level to deploy the multiple virtual machines automatically. We have flexibility to use multiple codes. And infrastructure pipelining with VMware code stream, all the DevOps related CI/CD pipelines. And integration with configuration management tool. So one of the configuration management tool is we can use BMC Remedy is the tool name, configuration management tool, or you can use ServiceNow. ServiceNow in short form we call it as Snow. You can use either Snow tool or BMC Remedy for a configuration management. Configuration management is nothing but it maintain all your infrastructure assets details. Suppose in my infrastructure I have a 300 plus ESXi host and 3000 plus virtual machine. If you want to maintain all your virtual machine list in a Excel sheet, it will be very difficult to maintain the list. So during that scenario, in the real time scenario, we use some configuration management tool such as BMC Remedy, or we can use a ServiceNow tool to maintain all your configuration data. Okay, and not only limited to these capabilities, vRA also have a capability to do Kubernetes infrastructure automation. As I said in the today's initial slide, we mentioned the one of the advanced concept is containerization. For containerization, a clustered concept is Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a clustered technology for containers. So this will also support for a Kubernetes as well. And multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy means using vRA, you can provide the access to multiple customers with dedicated infrastructure. And we can also maintain lifecycle management. Lifecycle management is nothing but we can do any update and upgrades using vRA. And resource right sizing and reclamation. Right sizing means we can able to increase the sizes for CPU, memory, disk, NIC sizes, and even if you want to remove reclamation also possible. And the self-service catalog, it's yes, it's a one of the capability. And the self-service networking. In order to do the self-service networking, we are required to integrate with some networking devices. Okay, and the support for a multi-cloud with public cloud endpoints, we can have a support to configure a multi-cloud. This is also, that is the reason we call the vRA as a multi-cloud management platform tool. Okay, and the Terraform service support. Terraform is one of the DevOps tool. It will also support for a infrastructure as a code as well. Okay, and vRA is also capable of doing a private cloud integration and private cloud soft. VMware official private cloud software name is VCF, VMware Cloud Foundation. The benefit of VMware Cloud Foundation is, instead of deploying the manual VMware vSphere setup, NSX setup, and vSAN setup, when you use a VCF product, the benefit of VCF is it will help you to provision your infrastructure very fast provisioning. For the VCF, the main backend concept is Cloud Builder. Using Cloud Builder, you can provision the VCF integration easily with vRA as well. Okay, and VMware Marketplace is one of the VMware website marketplace site. Using the marketplace site, we will get automatically the predefined blueprints, plugins, and other content. Okay, and VMware Solution Exchange support, we can also use the any of the third-party solutions exchange support also available in a vRealize automation, and it will also support for vSphere. vSphere means our ESX and vCenter. And now we'll talk about the VRA common use cases. So it's a high level diagram. Whatever we mentioned, the VMware VRA is mainly for all the environments. You can use it on the edge environment, data center, managed data center, public cloud, and native public clouds. Anything you can use, and whatever the location it is, but the main core concepts are compute, storage, and network. And then nowadays the main consistent infrastructure is virtual machine. The advanced of virtual machine concept is containers. Nowadays most of the companies they started using containers. Okay, so for to maintain the virtual machine and container, we are have a capable of providing all these use cases. One use case, as we discussed, service catalog. It's a list of all the requests, and infrastructure as a code, in short form IAC, and it will also support for DevOps like infrastructure pipeline, continuous integration and continuous development, and orchestration and extensibility. And orchestration mainly for a normal day-to-day operation, and extensibility we can use for a function as a service. And we can use for policy and governance, Kubernetes automation. Kubernetes automation mainly for container platform. And software config management. Config management means we can use ServiceNow or we can use BMC Remedy. And SDDC infrastructure automation. We are familiar for SDDC word. SDDC means software defined data center, which includes vSphere, vSAN, and NSX-T. Even that infrastructure also we can automate. So all this, whatever the mentioned in the common use cases, I also mention in a brief points as well. The same points I mentioned in the use cases. Okay, the use cases not limited to this 13. It will also have a multiple use cases. Okay, I just given a high level overview of common use cases. Okay, so this is a basic overview of vRealize automation. In the next session, we'll talk about the vRealize automation components in detail, and also how we can create a workflow, cloud template, and all lab concepts we'll discuss in the later sessions. Okay, and before ending the session, I will just give you a quick overview of technical consultants. Normally in the real-time scenarios, technical consultant roles are like it depends on the organization structure. We have a different types of roles like level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So level 0 means it's a considered as a system engineer role. It's a beginner role. Most of the time level 0 means it's a less than 1 year or 2 years experience. They consider as a system engineer beginner role. And some company they may use, instead of engineer word, they may use technical consultant or consultant roles, but the structure is like this: level 0 to level 4. And the level 1 means system engineer, or we can say consultant, more than 2 years of experience. When comes to level 2, the designation will change to senior system engineer or senior consultant, and they have a more than 3 years of experience. Now when you come to the level 3, it's obviously a subject matter expert, or we can become a technical lead also, so like a team lead. And the experience minimally we require more than 5 years. This is the structure normally the companies will follow for all the technical roles. Okay, and level 4 is nothing but it's equivalent to manager role, like operation manager, service delivery manager, incident manager. All the managers comes under a level 4. And if you are interested in the manager role, you can go for manager, or once you reach the level 3, we have a facility to go for a solutioning. We can provide the solutions to the customer. That role is defined as a solutions architect or technical architect. This solution architect must have a knowledge on all the traditional IT, private infrastructure, public cloud infrastructure, and hybrid cloud, similarly to multi-cloud. Who have a infrastructure knowledge on all the layers, you can easily become a solution architect. And normally the companies preferred minimally 8 years of experience to become a solution architect, but it depends on our skill set and experience. We can easily become a solution architect. Mainly, if you want to become a solution architect, what is the skills are needed? I will try to explain in the next slide. See, in the next, this is the one how to become a solution architect, because few of our feedback and questions I'm receiving. One common question is how we can apply for a solution architect role, and what is the key technical skills are required for solution architect role. I'm trying to explain few items. What is the skill set is needed to become a solution architect. Let's try to understand the column name first. The first one I given as a category. So category I explained about traditional virtualization, private cloud, public cloud. And hybrid and multi-cloud, we know the terminology is hybrid means mixed of private public, multi-cloud means it's just logical names only, but the concepts are mainly these four concepts. But when it comes to the infrastructure layer, there will be a multiple towers, compute tower, network tower, backup and storage tower, automation tower, security application. But today's session, I given the complete high level overview, and within the automation, we focused on a vRA. But let me elaborate all these concepts one by one. Suppose in the compute infrastructure, let's talk about the traditional first. In our traditional infrastructure, within a computer, we have a compute means multiple servers. We have a multiple servers, different types of rack mount servers and tower servers, blade servers. These are comes under the compute. And network layer means the main network devices are switches, router, firewall, and load balancers. When comes to the backup and storage, we know the storage we have a mainly direct attached storage, or we can say local storage, network attached storage, and storage area network. This is the storages available in a traditional environment. When comes to the automation, previously in traditional environment, we used to use normal scripts only. You can use a batch file script, shell script, or PowerShell scripts, or Python scripts, or any other scripts we can use for automation. But when comes to the virtualization, there will be automation tools. So that means even the scripting layer also automated. Okay. And security, we'll use n number of antivirus softwares are available in the current market. Depends on the company requirement. They can use any of the antivirus softwares. Okay. And application, all the application always related to the project related application, which include web server, application server, and database servers. Okay. And come to the virtualization. In our virtualization, what is the concepts mainly is we have VMware virtual machine, Hyper-V virtual machine, Oracle KVM virtual machine. Any virtual machine we can use on customer requirement, but in the current market, the most popular server virtualization vendor is vSphere. Okay, VMware virtual machine is the most popular. Okay. And come to the network, we have VMware level vSwitch, DV switch, and advanced network concept is NSX-T. And within the NSX-T, we'll get the logical switching, DLR, DFW, and LBs. And when it comes to the virtual storage, we have local FCSAN, FCOE, iSCSI, vSAN, and vVols. And automation, we have vRealize automation tool, vRealize Orchestrator, and there is a DevOps tools also available to do the automation tasks. Okay. And security level, we have antivirus software, and we also have NSX-T is mainly for network virtualization and advanced security features also it will provide, and other third-party tools. And applications always a project related application, web app, and DB. So suppose we are in a virtualization layer at present. If you want to become a solution architect, my personal experience is within all this tower, we must and should have a core knowledge of at least two towers. Suppose if you complete the vSphere course, you are familiar with a virtualization compute layer and some basics of network, some basics of storage. But if you want to become a solution architect, within this all the towers we must have at least minimally two towers, like either compute tower, network tower, or any other tower. We must have a strong knowledge. That will be your core knowledge. And the other towers, automation, security, and application, if you have a basic knowledge also, you can easily apply for a solution architect roles. So you can start planning your technical skills enhancement this way. Suppose you are more interested on compute, you can go deep dive for the VMware knowledge, vSphere knowledge, and then you can start focus on any networking skill, storage skill, or automation. Suppose if you want to plan for a automation skill, you can, once you're familiar for VMware vSphere knowledge, you can focus on the vRealize automation. If you have compute and automation skill, you can easily apply for a solution architect role. Suppose your interest is on virtual SAN, storage layer is your interest. If you focus on compute and storage also, you can easily apply for a solution architect. And if you have more than two skills, means it's like a additional value added to your CV and profile. Okay. And so, but my preference is you can go with vSphere and don't stop with your vSphere skill. You can try to learn NSX-T, vSAN, and vRA for your better feature. Okay. That is my preference, or else you can choose based on your interest any of the skill set you can choose. Okay. So these are all the private cloud related tools. Now let's talk about the some additional private cloud tools. Within the private cloud, obviously the terminology we use virtual machine, and within the network, it will still we need a private cloud environment, need a physical network and virtual network. And virtual network concept called SDN, software defined networking, we can have to learn NSX-T. Okay. And the storage also same, both physical and virtual is comes under a private cloud software defined storage, which is vSAN and virtual volumes. And the automation, again, vRA is comes under for both private and public, and the security also same, applications also same. And the public environment, I just took the example of Amazon. Amazon, we call it as a EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 is nothing but a virtual machine, but only the terminology is different, but the name and is different, but the concept is same like our vSphere virtual machine. But in the Amazon, we call it as EC2 instance. EC2 instance means it's a virtual machine only. And Azure VM, we call it as Azure VM, similarly for other vendors. And if you are more interested on public cloud, you can learn any public cloud also, same combination. You will get the more knowledge on compute and any of the other tower knowledge. Like if you try to concentrate on AWS VPC, virtual private cloud, this is one of the networking knowledge. Even if you learn EC2 and VPC also, you will get the solution architect role. Okay, similarly for other public clouds. And same way applicable for storage tower. AWS also have a S3 storage, like simple storage service. This is used for a backup and storage purpose. And EBS, elastic block storage, this will used for a virtual machine storage. That virtual machines are EC2 instance storage. And similarly for other third party clouds. And automation, most of the time public cloud we can use DevOps, or some companies they may prefer to choose VRA as well, integrated VRA integrated with public cloud. Okay. And the security similar as always same, we can use some security softwares. And applications also same like above, but only thing in the advance in the public cloud is we also started using microservices and function as a service. So I repeat, to become a solution architect, try to focus on minimally two technologies. One vSphere compute level, and network storage automation and any security and application. It depends on your own interest. You can choose one tower and start enhancing your skill set. Okay. So that's it for today. Today we covered the all the high level summary of vRealize automation and some basic concepts of a cloud. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. If no questions, we can end the session here. Thanks for your time. Bye for now.
Thank you, sir.